One of our deceivers was once directed to an illegal underground club. You can tell us who you think it is by voting along in the chat. Let's find out who's telling the truth and who is a chump. Welcome to Chump, everybody, the Rooster Teeth game show all about lying and deception. I'm your host, Jeremy Dooley, and remember, you can protect yourself online today by heading to expressvpn.com/RTTV. Now, without further ado, it's time to introduce our deceivers, starting with deceiver number 1, Alana Pierce.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Deceiver number 2, Mr. Matt Bragg.
Hello.
And
Good to
finally, deceiver number 3, the always deceptive Sam Mitchell. And only 2 people can suss out whether or not they're telling the truth or lying. The first is today's contestant, Gus Sorolla. Yeah. And the second is you, the audience playing along at home. Welcome, everyone, to the show.
Why does Matt look like he's green screened?
Because he's got such a nice camera and background and everything. Yeah. It looks so nice.
Now I'm like, this is the only time I could be green screen. Before I was just all fuzzy.
You were fuzzy.
Advanced. Yeah.
Matt, I'm not going to lie. They sent me a camera like yours, and I was using it, and I was looking at it. I'm like, I'm fuzzy. I'm like Matt Bragg fuzzy on here. and literally, I think it was Christian was like, try wiping the lens. And I just wiped the lens, and it looked great.
Movie magic.
Movie magic. Before we get too far into today's episode, we do have an announcement for you playing along at home. Now, you do your hashtags in the chat, and we calculate those to get the audience vote. Well, the software, whatever we use to make that happen, isn't working right now, but do not fear. You can still vote along in the chat, and it will still be calculated, and we will still know what your official vote is because we have our own man behind the scenes calculating all of your votes. Do we have an image of our calculator? There he is. Okay, so he'll be watching the chat and calculating all of your votes to make sure that you are actually getting your voices heard through Eric. It's going to be excellent. Well, without further ado, it's time to move on to our first game, which is called What's in Your House? So in this game, all 3 of our deceivers will be describing a strange item that's in their house. However, only one of them actually has the item. The other 2 are making up items that don't exist. And it's up to Gus to question them until I tell him to move on to the next person about these items and determine which item is actually real. And you, the audience, are voting on who has the real item by using hashtags within the chat. So hashtag Alana, hashtag Matt, hashtag Sam. And you're casting your votes and Eric is tabulating them. So we're going to go right down the line and hear a 1-sentence description of each of these items, starting with Alana. Alana, what is in your house?
I have a model of Batman's penis, replicated after Batman Damned came out, which was the comic book that exclusively revealed Batman's dick for the first time ever.
There it is, a model of Batman's penis. Matt, what is in your house?
I have an illustration of my family crest on my mother's side. It was brought over from, I guess, wherever I was from.
And then, Sam, what is in your house?
I have a small piece of King Arthur's castle.
A small piece of King Arthur's castle. Okay, those are your 3 items, Gus. And you can start with whoever you want. Who do you want to question first?
I want to question Matt first.
All right, Matt and the family crest. I'll tell you, Gus, when to move on to the next person. So whenever you're ready, begin your questioning.
Where did they come from?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think it was like Switzerland or Germany, one of those places across the ocean.
What colors are the crest?
Red, silver. I think there's some gold on there too.
Are there any designs on it?
Yeah, there's a unicorn and a knight. It's pretty cool.
Is it like in quadrants or is it like stripes? What is it? What's
got
like the layout on
a
it?
shield thing, you know? It's like kind of like knights and stuff. So there's like it's like a shield. It's got some little stuff here, and there's like the cross section. I don't know if that really described it very well.
Is this like an old item that you've had that's been in the family for a long time, or is it like a reproduction?
I think it's a reproduction of the original one, but like we've got the original one. I don't have it. I think my mom does, but I've got a copy. I mean, when I'm older or come of age, you know, when you have my first kill.
All right, guys, so that's enough for Matt. Who do you want to question next?
Oh God, let's go with Alana.
Hi.
Alana and the Batman penis. All right, Gus, whenever you're ready, begin your questioning.
So is it like a scale model?
Well, it's supposed to be, but it's just mapped off the comic book. I had it commissioned.
Oh, you had it commissioned. I thought it was like an official thing.
That would be amazing, but no.
Yeah, I was like, so the question on everybody's mind is Batman well endowed?
Well, it's interesting because he's in between being flaccid and being hard. I guess they didn't want to give Batman like a full boner. But I would say for that ratio, yeah, he's pretty well off. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of material is it made out of?
It is made out of resin.
Resin.
Very breakable.
It's. I mean, I have so many questions about it, so I don't even know where to begin. How long does it take someone to make a Batman penis?
So the resin part is actually easy. They could now replicate it for as many people as they want. Making the mold is the part that takes a really long time. So it took about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Is it rude to ask how much did you pay for Batman's penis?
I prefer not to talk about it.
You prefer not to talk about it.
I will allow that. I will allow that answer.
But understandable. I didn't know if that was crossing an unspoken rule.
That's
or not.
private.
How long have you had this item?
It would be about 9 months. I got it maybe 2 months after the comic came out, where you see Batman's dick for the first time, which DC actually recalled because I guess they didn't realize that Batman's dick was in it. So that comic book even ran out of print pretty quickly. And then I was like, well, if that is completely gone, why don't I have it remade based on the comic? So it was about 2 months after the comic came out.
All right, Gus, I'm gonna cut you off there.
Okay.
And rip my search history after this for yeah. And so that leaves Sam going on to the Sam questioning, which was a small piece of King Arthur's castle. So Gus, whenever you're ready, begin your questioning.
Where did you get a piece of King Arthur's castle?
Cornwall, England. That's the. I was much like you. I didn't think it was an actual thing, and then I went to Cornwall in England, right? And then I was with my girlfriend who's very Irish, and essentially they're like, "What do you want to do?" It's like, I don't know what's there to do around Cornwall. It's like the middle of nowhere, England, kind of. They're like, "Well, we could go see like Merlin's cave," and I was like, "What? Is that like a sightseeing thing?" She's like, like the wizard Merlin. He's got a cave here on the coast. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then she's like, "Or Arthur's castle," and yeah, it's just like that's how old England is. They just have like an old mythological heroes castle, and you can just go check it out.
Merlin's cave sounds like a bar I want to drink in, by the way. I just want to throw that out there before we go any further.
I'd go there too.
How big of a piece of the castle is this?
This shape.
That big.
That helps you. It's not very big. It's like the piece of what an old brick would be, I guess.
So they're not. So you can visit the castle, but you can also buy a piece of it while you're there?
You can't buy it. I don't think you were supposed to take it. I did not take it. This is something the girlfriend had from back in the day, but I did go see it. Yeah.
I got you. I see. Okay, this wasn't making sense.
And
it makes a little more sense.
There's not like a big castle. There's like, hey, there's some ruins of a castle right here. It's like eye level at the highest bit of it, but that's where it was, and that's what it is. Yeah.
So King Arthur was a real person?
Yeah. It's called a Tintagel Castle, by the way, if you actually want to Google it. Tintagel. But that's King Arthur's castle.
I guess he was borrowing it from Tintagel. So you said is it just like a single piece of stone that would have been in the wall? Or is it like you said, like a brick? Or like
It would have been like the outside wall. It's just part of like an old brick. I don't know what castle terminology uses for brick, but yeah, it's just an old big piece of stone that would have been part of like the outlying wall of the castle.
All right, Gus, I'm gonna stop your questioning there. King Arthur's castle. So, audience, this is the last chance to get your votes in for Eric. So make sure to use the hashtags on who has the actual item in their home. Gus, before we lock in an answer, is there anyone you're completely not believing? Anyone you're leaning toward?
Matt Bragg's full of shit.
Right?
100%. None of that sounded believable for a fucking second.
So between Alana and Sam, how you feeling?
Alana and Sam, I thought were really neck and neck. This is going to sound strange. I was really believing Sam until he looked down to measure and then brought it up. I felt like that was going a little too far trying to sell a lie.
Ooh. If there was someone who was going to do that, Sam's been known to be a very tricky.
And I only recently learned about Batman's dick like 2 days ago. So it's weird that Alana was talking about that. So like off the top of my head, I did know a little bit about Batman's dick and what she was talking about. And that all sounded right to me based on my limited Batman dick knowledge.
I looked it up during Sam's story. I'll be
Real thing.
Yeah. I think there's more than a little bit, to be fair, Gus.
That's a good point. All right, well, we're about to lock in your answer. Audience, we are shutting down your vote. Thank you very much for voting. Eric is tabulating those right now as we speak. Gus, for you, we have to ask, who has the actual item in their home?
This is tough. I'm really neck and neck right now, but I'm gonna go with Alana having Batman dick in her place.
Batman dick. You want to lock that in?
Yeah, so let's lock it in.
Lock in Alana as having the actual item. And before we do the reveal, the big reveal everyone's waiting for, we need to see what the audience thought. So let's see. Does Eric have those numbers for us? Okay, that doesn't add up, but
Nice.
no, I think it does. It does. 49% went for Alana.
Yeah.
46.
Okay.
Okay, Eric says no one believes Sam. So they're also going with Alana. Also going with Alana on that one. So instead of me actually just saying who has the item, I'm going to count down from 3, and they're all going to hold up their items. Of course, only one of them will actually have the item. So reveal the item in 3, 2, 1, reveal.
Why was
there
there nervous in describing it?
Yeah, you were so nervous and like you kept saying like conflicting things.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. I hadn't looked at it for a while. I found it in my closet.
It was right there. You could have looked
in
at
front of
it.
you.
I was gonna look down at it. I had the thing.
And then when he said there's a unicorn on it, I was like, surely that's not real. Why they would put a fake animal on
Matt
there?
goes, look, it's a unicorn.
They used the horn for stabbing back in the day.
Yeah, those unicorns are running amok. But also, God, Matt.
You're a terrible truth teller, Matt. Why
Yeah,
you
I'm
sound
bad.
so shifty
I
the
know.
entire time?
He wasn't believing himself. Oh man,
You didn't know where they
Like-
came from. You didn't know you didn't know anything.
Hey,
Yeah, you were telling the truth
Don't mistake
so
my
bad.
lack of knowledge for me not being honest. Calm down.
I literally went to the email to confirm that you were the one telling the truth because you were telling the truth so badly. I was like, "Is he?" I thought he was telling the truth. I gotta check the
It's like, I
email.
don't know,
real quick.
red,
Is this
maybe,
guy, like,
I
what
don't
the-
know.
Honestly,
like-
I forgot the coloring when you asked because I was like, oh shit, he might want to know.
well, you were
that.
right. There's some red,
Yeah, I
there's
was
some
right.
silver,
Red,
maybe a little
silver,
gold.
gold.
There is. I mean, you
It's
were
there.
right. Which means at the end of that round, shamefully, the deceivers have 2 points at the end of that round. And audience, if you're mad, take it up with Eric. Don't take it up with us. This episode of Chump is brought to you by Bespoke Post. As we all settle into this new normal version of summer, Bespoke Post is here with customized box of awesome collections for guys, guaranteed to upgrade your life. Bespoke Post only sends guys the best stuff every month. No matter what you're into, Box of Awesome has you covered. From styling, grooming goods to barware, cooking tools, and outdoor gear. Box of Awesome has carefully built collections for every part of your life. I'm personally very into camping and being outdoors, so I got a Damascus steel blade from them that's super sharp and it works great. It's easy to carry with me, and it really comes in handy when you're camping and just you never know when you need to cut something. So they do high quality stuff, is what I'm saying pretty much. To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right box of awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Each box costs only $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code CHUMP at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code CHUMP for 20% off your first box. Thank you, Bespoke Post. Okay, so close. That means that there is still plenty of time to change those points around as we move on to our second game, which is called Out of Context. In this game, we have a social media post from one of our three deceivers. I will read the post out loud, and then Gus gets to question each person for 45 seconds about the context of this post. Try to figure out exactly what they were talking about, and at the end of the game, he just has to tell me who actually made the post. Audience, you're voting along using hashtags in the chat on who made the social media post. Hashtag Alana, hashtag Matt, hashtag Sam. But let's take a look at the post. I mean, that game could be complete nonsense story-wise, more than it is, and it'd still be a gameplay masterpiece. It is about gaming. We do have a bunch of gamers here. We'll see what games this was in context to. So, Gus, who do you want to start with on this one?
Let's start with Alana.
All right, starting with Alana, we're going to put 45 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
I mean, the first obvious question is, what game was it about?
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Fuck, that's exactly the game I thought it was in reference to.
It is.
So you enjoyed the game?
Yeah, I mean, it is a literal story-wise mess in that the ending doesn't make any sense, but I think that the gameplay is fantastic. This is a conversation I was having with another journalist, Nathan, the year the game came out.
What platform did you play the game on?
Xbox One.
What was... Shit, I'm getting nervous. I don't know. I'm out of questions.
I'm getting nervous.
I thought it would be a lot easier to be the contestant. I've only ever been a deceiver on this game. I'm finding out it's a lot easier to be a deceiver than the contestant.
Oh, it's great. You just lie and stuff. It's awesome. Matt. Oh,
no, the chat's all
Matt.
Nobody else is even gone.
Well, they're getting their votes in early. Yeah. This is all Eric's problem. He's keeping track. Yeah. He's also keeping track. You can change your answer at any point. Eric is keeping track of if you change your answer, he can erase your first one and put the second one in there. So don't worry about that. Gus, who would you like to question next?
Yeah, definitely going Matt. Just going to go down the line.
Going Matt next. All right. 45 seconds to question Matt Bragg. Ready, get set, go.
What game was that post in reference to?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
this was a game you enjoyed?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's not like a great story. I mean, it's really convoluted, but it's fun. The gameplay.
What platform did you play the game on?
On the Xbox One. I really wanted to get achievements with Kingdom Hearts. Haven't been able to do that until recently, actually.
When did you play the game?
I mean, right around the time it came out. I think that was roughly a year ago at this point.
Who were you talking with this social media post?
It was just a response to someone that messaged me about it. So I talked about being excited.
All right, so that is the questions for Matt Bragg. And that leaves Sam Mitchell. So, Gus, are you ready to do your questioning to Sam?
I'm ready.
All right, 45 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
What game were you talking about in this post, Sam?
Vanquish from PS3 360 era.
Which platform did you play it on?
PS3.
So this was a game that you actually enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean, you can infinitely slide with like rockets. You have rocket slides. It was back when we used to do top 10 lists, and that was the whole concept of it. We put it like number one most badass action moves, and it was the Vanquish like infinite slide and you can smoke cigarettes in the game. It's a fucking awesome game in general.
Calm down, Sam. He has
the story's a
time.
goddamn mess, but it's fun game.
Who are you talking to online when you made this post?
I can't remember. It's just some fan online that was like, "You guys made a shitty list. That game's not awesome," and I was like, "Fuck you, it's great."
Vanquish does rule. That game rules. I agree.
The Unlimited Slide is one of the best mechanics in video games. Period. It's so much fucking fun. You just slide across like, yeah, awesome.
Sega.
All right.
Weirdly.
I feel at a disadvantage because I never heard of that game.
Good.
Can confirm the slide is awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
So, audience, you're getting your last votes in here. I mean, Gus, this is a tough one because they all seem believable, but is there anyone you're not?
Well,
quite believing as much.
My first gut when I first read the post, I thought that this post was about the Phantom Pain. So when Alana said it was about Phantom Pain, I was like, that's exactly the game I was thinking of. But I could believe Matt talking about Kingdom Hearts. But the thing that got me is, didn't Kingdom Hearts come out a year and a half ago? Like he said, he played it about a year ago. I thought he played it right when the game actually came out, which would have been.
Man doesn't remember what his own family crest looks like.
A better question, exactly. Wouldn't remember.
Yeah,
that's true. And then as far as Sam, I have no idea. I never played Vanquish, so I don't know.
Right. Well, so you got a tough choice ahead of you as we lock in the audience. Audience, you are locked in. Eric is counting up those right now. So Gus, while he's doing that, it is time for me to ask, who actually made this social media post?
I'm gonna have to say Alana again. just for no other reason than I thought this post was about Metal Gear Solid 5.
All right, locking it in?
Yes.
Lock in Alana as making the social media post. And now I am looking to hear from Eric. Hang on. Do we have the numbers? Yes, we have the numbers. Eric, can we see what the numbers were? 45% for Alana, 43 for Matt, and 12 for Sam. That seems off as well. Right? that doesn't seem quite right. But they're going for Alana, it looks like. So the vote is for Alana, audience. And I can reveal that the person who made that social media post was Alana Pierce. It was indeed about Metal Gear Solid. You were right. I like that you knew that before you even heard the story.
the second I read that, I was like, I guarantee I know what game.
Couldn't be anything else.
Yeah.
That's the first response was, fuck. Yep, there it is. There it is from Alana. I have not played a Metal Gear Solid game, and that's all I hear about them is like the story is so confusing.
No, it's confusing, but it's actually really interesting if you pull out and look at it. There's some really good elements into it, but it's a lot of nonsense.
Play Ground Zeroes if you haven't played anything. Just try Ground Zeroes. It's really short. Highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
This episode of Chump is brought to you by Samsung and AT&T 5G. Rooster Teeth is joining forces with Samsung and AT&T 5G to kick things off for our upcoming RTX at-home virtual event. We're creating a Ruby outdoor mural that you can add art to from your home using the Mark Augmented Reality app. Just download the Mark app and start creating your own Ruby fan art starting on September 5th through September 7th. Each night, fans' designs will be projected on the mural wall, and you can see yours come to life on social. If you're on the AT&T 5G network at home, you can access Plus mode through the Mark app. So you'll get the highest res video and crystal clear images to explore on the app. Also, check out the new Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G powered by AT&T 5G. AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and coverage is not in all areas. But here are just some of the new features you can try out on this device. The cloud gaming will be available with the power of 5G. You can try out cloud gaming with high-performance experiences brought to you via the newest Samsung devices, powered by AT&T 5G. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G also has a 120 Hz adaptive display that automatically adjusts the refresh rate according to the content that you're viewing. And if you're a gamer like me, refresh rate is really, really important. It has an intelligent battery that optimizes for your gameplay, so you won't go crashing in the middle of gameplay like you will on some other phones. Between 5G support, Wi-Fi optimization, and the advanced processor, you get a smooth gaming experience with virtually no lag. Check out the S Pen and Samsung Notes to create your own work of art. It's got a huge, giant display on it, which is great for when you're taking photos and want to look at that high-res image. It's great for when you're drawing on it. You know, there's a bunch of games we play where you have to draw little pictures on there and try to get people to guess what they are. And it's perfect for that, especially with the pen. It just makes it super simple to do all sorts of gaming things on your phone. Head over to AT&T.com/Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G to learn how you can get the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 5G for free, or the Galaxy Note 20 5G Ultra for $299.99 for a limited time. Thanks, Samsung, and thank you, AT&T 5G. I'll play them. I'll put them on the list. But that means that the contestant and the audience both got a point for that round, which means it is now 1-1-2 in a very close game. And of course, everyone can earn 2 points in this next game. So it really is on the line. And we're moving on to our final game, which is called Pushing the Envelope. In this game, I have 3 true facts from each of our deceivers. I'm going to shuffle them up and redistribute them. And so they might get their own facts. They might get someone else's. Regardless, they're defending that fact as if it is their own. Gus can question each person for 60 seconds about that fact. If it's theirs, they're telling the truth. If it's not, they're lying to answer those questions. And at the end of the game, Gus just has to say whether or not the person is lying, not necessarily whose fact is whose. So the shuffling has been done, and we'll start with Alana. So the true fact about Alana is that she has a kitchen drawer full of underwear. Alana has a kitchen drawer full of underwear. Matt's true fact is that he was led by a stranger into an illegal underground club. And then the true fact about Sam is that Sam, I'm having trouble opening it, has a black belt in Taekwondo. So those are your true facts about each of the 3. Gus, you have 60 seconds to question each person. And audience, you're voting on who was directed to an underground club. So who was directed by a stranger to an illegal underground club? Matt is claiming it's him, but do you believe that? Or do you think it was Alana? Do you think it was Sam? Use your hashtags to determine that. Gus, who do you want to start with on this?
I got to start with Sam this time. I haven't started with him yet, so let's start over
Sam,
there.
Who has a black belt in Taekwondo. 60 seconds going on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
How long did it take you to get a black belt?
Let's see, 7 to 8 years, about 7 to 14, so something like that.
So it was between the time you were 7 to 14 years old?
Yeah.
Do you still take Taekwondo lessons?
No, not anymore.
Was that when you stopped, when you got your black belt?
No, I kept doing it for a little while, but then pretty much it was like I got the black belt right before I kind of started high school, and then high school and everything, and then especially college, completely dropped off.
What was your instructor's name?
Professor Kim, or Sensei Kim sometimes, but he was it was really cool actually. In Taekwondo, that's kind of where I got a lot of love for science as a kid, was because he wouldn't it wasn't just break a board. He would explain everything that went into it and kinetic energy and stuff. So we called him Professor Kim a lot. He's a really nice guy. Cool.
So you pronounce it Taekwondo?
Yeah.
All right. So there's the black belt himself, Sam Mitchell. Gus, who do you want to go to next?
I guess let's go reverse order. Let's do Matt.
Okay, so you're going to Matt. Stranger once directed him to an illegal underground club. Audience, this is the one you are voting on as well. Gus, 60 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
How far underground was the club?
I don't know the measurement of how far underground. I'm probably
how many stairs, Matt?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 20 stairs? I don't know.
Where was this club located?
It was in Augusta, Georgia. That's the city that's right by where I used to live back in South Carolina.
Why was it illegal?
Well, I'm fairly certain there were drugs there, and the cops were there at the end of that night, so...
They raided the place while you were there?
Well, I mean, I left, and then I saw some go in.
How old were you when this happened?
I believe I was 22. I had just been able to drink, and we were finally going out to party, you know?
Did you know about this club, or did someone else take you there?
It was a stranger, but we were over there, and Augusta trying to go out and, like, again, drink and stuff, and someone just asked, like, hey, you want to go check this place out? It's really cool, and then we followed them down there.
All right. The club in Augusta, you said it was?
Mm-hmm.
The Augusta Club. All right, Gus. That just leaves Alana, who's claiming to have a kitchen drawer full of underwear. So, Gus, you have 60 seconds to question her about this drawer. Ready, get set, go.
Is it like a high drawer or a low drawer?
Low drawer. It's the kind that you would put cutlery in.
Why do you have an underwear drawer in the kitchen?
I live in a studio apartment, so I actually have a drawer that's full of underwear, one that's full of sports bras and socks, and all of my clothes are actually in my kitchen cupboards.
Do you have any dishes in your kitchen cupboards as well?
Yes, there's room for both. So it's like half of the kitchen is clothing, half of the kitchen is not.
Is it like left-hand side and right-hand side, or how do you determine that?
Yes, so you can see right there is my stove. The area of the kitchen that is closest to the stove and the oven is where all the kitchen stuff is. On the outside, the area that's closest to my door right here is where I have all my clothes. Because I gotta like keep room for like this guy. I can't be putting, you know, furniture in here.
Do you also have other clothes in like a closet as well?
I only have a coat closet, but yes.
In the coat closet, and then the cupboards and the drawers. All right, so that is all of the questioning done. Audience, remember, you are still voting on who was led by a stranger into a illegal underground club. Matt is claiming it was him. You've heard the questioning. Do you believe him, or do you want to change your votes? Gus, before we lock anything in, how you feeling on this one? Is there anyone you're totally not believing?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. I intentionally threw a curveball question to Matt that I think he screwed up by asking him how far underground the club was. I assume whoever went to an underground club meant it was a secret club and not a club that was actually physically subterranean.
And then I saw the wheels turning.
I'm gonna be like, what?
Right. So
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not believing Matt for that reason.
That's fair.
Okay.
You were wrong
what about
before.
Sam and Alana? How you feeling
Yeah,
about
was.
them?
I'm feeling pretty good. I have my spidey sense is a little off with Sam. I feel like most people who I know who took Taekwondo for a long time, they call it Taekwondo and not Taekwondo. And he kept saying Taekwondo while he was talking about it. Again, some people say it that way, but just people who I know in the past who've taken a lot of it normally say it the other way.
Yeah, this was Texas. You don't really you say it that one way. Like,
He also called his sensei professor, which I thought was a little weird.
Professor Kim. Well, so we got some sussing going on here. Audience, we're gonna lock you in. Eric's gonna tabulate your answers and come to the full conclusion, and then he can go rest for the night. But Gus, it's time for you now. We're going to go down the line, and you're just gonna tell me if you think they're telling the truth or if they're telling a lie. And we're starting with Alana, who is claimed to have a kitchen drawer full of underwear. Is she telling the truth or telling a lie?
I did forget to say also, before we started, we were in the pre-show lobby. Alana did mention how she was in a small place too. So that is making me
She
think
in
that
her
she might be
right now.
that is making me think she might be telling the truth, but I'm gonna say that she is lying.
You think she's
Why?
lying? Do you want to lock that in?
Yes.
Alana, let's lock in.
For what?
Alana.
By what logic?
By the logic that I don't believe the other two. So then if they're all lying, then you have to be lying as well.
Well, two people could be lying and could be swapped.
Oh, two people could be. That's true, but I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay. So on to Matt Bragg, who you seem to believe wholeheartedly. But do we think that he's lying or telling the truth?
I'm gonna say that he's lying as well.
Oof.
You think Matt is lying? Lock that in. Yeah, it's locked in. Okay, and then that leaves Sam, who still could be lying or telling the truth mathematically. a black belt in Taekwondo. Gus, what do you think?
I'm going to say lying. I'm going to say lying across the board.
All three are liars. All right,
yeah,
let's lock it in. Lock in Sam as a liar as well. And before we do the full reveal, Eric has the numbers in. So who does the audience think was led to an illegal underground club? Let's take a look at those numbers.
That definitely does not add up.
Definitely doesn't add up.
Why me?
No,
Why me?
18%
certainly not.
and 86% for Sam. All right, so they're going with Sam on that one. So let's go down the line and reveal, starting with Alana, who claimed to have had a kitchen drawer full of underwear. You thought she was lying, and I can reveal that she is telling the truth. That was true from Alana. It was indeed in a small place, clothes in the cupboards. And let's move on to Matt Bragg, who you thought you caught him out by saying it couldn't have possibly actually been an underground place, because you thought he was lying, and I can reveal that Matt Bragg was lying. He was indeed lying. You got that one right.
True. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
I based my lie on a true story, though. so it wasn't like a complete lie. We did go downstairs.
Saw you
so that's what I did with Batman, Dick.
Far
it's easier if you base it on something that kind of did happen. But the underground got me too. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, we can reveal you thought that Sam was telling a lie, and mathematically, yeah, you were right. Sam was telling a lie as well. Matt and Sam had their stories switched, which means Sam was the person who was led by a stranger to an illegal underground club, which means the audience got that one right as well. So at the end of that game, it means the audience gets 2 points for getting that correct. It means the contestant gets 1 point for getting one of them correct, which means we've got a tie down the line. And wait, is it the audience got 2 points? I don't think the audience is part of that tie. Maybe my math is off today. But regardless, on this show, it isn't about winning, it's about not losing. And since it is a three-way tie and everyone has 2 points, that means that everyone lost. It is a three-way loss. It is not a three-way win. It absolutely means at the end of today's show, the contestant, the deceivers. There we go. Yeah, audience. Give you three. Give you three. It means at the end of this, the contestant and the deceivers collectively are tonight's show. There it is. So, audience, you got away with it. Eric was on your side. He was on your side. I knew it. I knew you had three. I wasn't going to let you get sucked into that, guys. Don't you worry. But thank you, everyone, for bearing with us for that technical glitch. Thank you, all the deceivers and Gus, for being here for this episode. Alana, thank you for joining us for your first time here on
the
show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
And it was, of course, great to have. Yeah, you got to get the bat. I was just picturing in my mind. I was like, if she was really telling the truth, she'd have to hold up a bat dick, and I don't know what we could get away with from that.
Blur it, yeah.
But we are going to hear the true stories from Matt and Sam that we didn't get to hear in our post-show Chump Change. So make sure that you are a first member so you can watch that. We're just going to yammer for about 10 minutes about the stories we didn't get to hear. And make sure to tune in next week for another episode of Chump. And make sure to check out RTX Live, because that is happening. 10 days of RTX coming on up very soon. Check it out. Thanks for coming by, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know in the comments below who managed to fool you this episode. And remember, there will be a brand new episode next week at 5 p.m. Central Time. So tune into the RT site, make an account, and you can watch and play along with us. We'll see you then.